What's going on here? The Strat Soldier here with the weekend shift, and I am here with Rob Smith right here on the Strat Shift. What is going on, Rob? Good afternoon. Good morning, whatever it is over in Chicago. What is it in Chicago?
It's 12 noon, so top of the hour to you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I know you got a ton of stuff going on. A ton. You got all your vids that you put out. And then you got your own personal life you're trying to shove in there. And then
what's that?
Yeah, what's that? Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. This is awesome. How many people in the chat there? Can anybody tell me how many people in the chat? Just for funsies.
And welcome.
And welcome. Thank you so much for being here. The weekend shift. This is episode 4. So this is a month into it officially. Anybody in the chat? How many people we got out there in the room? 26. We're gonna give me 50. Give me 100. We're gonna get there. You gotta get people going. I like doing it this time of day because it's early, but it's at the same time people are waking up, drinking coffee, and all that stuff. So this week was crazy Monday. I want to go straight to the charts, but I mean, Monday was nuts. And then Tuesday, we were looking for some more downside. And then by the end of the week, it just right back to where it was, back into the trial, like you say, Rob. And I want to talk about that a little bit, but I mean, because this week was tough. Even just talking about time frame continuity alone. But first, you, Rob. Just how did you get started with the strat, or how did you the steps in learning to get to the strat? I'm sorry, I'm not talking to somebody who just learned it. I'm talking to the guy who created it. So let me change my question there.
Right, it was a long process, just like anybody else that starts out. I've heard this one a million times. Trading is my passion, and I'm like, then how come you're so bad at it? It's like, and so. Like anybody else, when I started, I just was soaking in anything I could. And, I read every book that I could possibly find and summarize it all. And I can remember speaking in Boca one time, and my ex-wife was there, and she's like, yep, he did that. And I was like, all right, well, I was like, Thomas Edison, the light bulb. I'm like, I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that don't work. And so what I would do is, first of all, I learned the hard way. I was a clerk starting in '89 full time on the floor, and I got demolished before I was even a member. And I was I was working for a specialist, and the guy next to us was a specialist in compact computer. And so in those days, eventually everybody's going to have a home computer. This thing's going to be gangbusters, right? Compact. So compact running up. And the guy that I worked for was a position trader. And sometimes he would only make money 4 times a month, but when he did, he'd get it all back and then some, right? But he was a big fader. But we were like, yeah, compact. I'm like, this thing's going to the moon. And so it goes 100, 120, 110, 120. I'm in at 120. And I come in the morning, and there was no pre-market or post-market in those days, right? It's cash, that was it. And so I come in the morning, and I'm looking over at my friend's station, the specialist in compact, and it says CPQ, which was the symbol, 80 to 90. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, that's the indication of where it's going to open. I'm like, it's opening down $30? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, ugh. And the guy I work for, Jim's like, oh, we'll just buy some more. I'm like, yeah, screw him. Let's buy some more. And it got killed. By the time I blew it out, it was at 26. And I lost almost everything I had. And I just, I still had the account, fortunately. But that was the point where I knew I had to figure this stuff out. And so we actually had a computer with the S&P up in 89 and 90, just one screen. And I dug into all the books and everything I could do, and it still didn't make any sense. And I was like, this is just, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Why do they just do this? So what I did was I said, well, the best thing I can do here is immersion. I'm like, I'm just going to pour through charts, and I'm not going to try and analyze them at all, but my brain has to see them. So like this weekend research that I do, I used to do that every day. So 2,500 to 3,000 charts every day. And I was like, there's got to be some commonality of, I would look through the percentage gainers and dollar gainers. I'm like, there's got to be something there, right? And at least I knew to stop fading. That's what really saved me. And I was a specialist, so I'd order flow to, but I did know strength and weakness, and I would go with that, right? And that worked very well. But I still, it's still nerve wracking. It's still a nerve wracking job because I don't know why. I'm just in there, and sometimes they just blow up on you and go the other way, right? And now we know why. But the strat really was a process of 20 years of looking at these charts until finally there was a Fed day, and it was discernibly a good news. It was in 2010, and it was a big rate cut, right? And so what happened was that as soon as that news came out, the market popped up, then puked, and then gone to the highs, right? And I was like, why would it do that? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. The news is good. It should just go straight up, right? And so I figured out that it creates an order vacuum when you have that, because everybody's sitting there like ready. If it's good, I'm buying. If it's bad, I'm selling, right? So everybody goes, boom, hit the buy button. So when that happens, you create the order vacuum because it rips up. There's nothing back down there, especially back in those days, a lot less liquidity than there is today. So there's no orders down there. So anybody takes profits, there's nothing there. And it goes flying back through. And so when you have that continuity level that we talk about, where the price was when the news came out, anybody who held off said, ooh, going down on good news, I'm going to short this thing, bam, right? They wail on it. And then anybody covers or starts to buy, now that order vacuum's twice as big, right? It's the upside and the downside, comes ripping back. So I figured that part out. And then I looked at it and I was like, that's a broadening formation. Every book I've ever had said this is a very rare megaphone pattern. And I was like, so I drew it. And then I started looking, when I started going back through all the charts like I do, I was like, this isn't everything. This is how it works. Everything's doing this. And so that's where I started to see the broadening formation series, or as I like to say, the outside bar phenomenon. What that means is it's not actually like a chart pattern. It's a phenomenon that both sides of ranges get taken out. And if you fail testing one side and they start going through, they're going to test the other side, right? It happens all day in every time frame. So I figured that part out. That was big because then I could gauge my magnitude. If it starts coming back through, it's going to go test the other side of the range. That really helped. And then I started with inside bars when silver went to $50 an ounce, and it was just ripping, and AGQ was a triple, right? So this thing is moving 50, 80 bucks a day, up and down and ripping around. And I had a 1 minute chart up, and I could see the inside bar form and then just explode out of there, because it shouldn't do that. It's extremely volatile. So anytime it rests, it's going to explode either way out of there, right? It's one of the analogies I use is like when you spin a top, right? And it's going around real fast, but it looks like it's not moving at all until you touch it. And then boom, it goes bouncing off the walls, right? So I started to see the inside bar equilibriums through that. So that's how the strat started, with the inside bars and stuff like that. So then there was a period of low volatility, like we've seen, which sucks, right? And that's when time frame continuity had to come entering into it. And I was like, because you really needed that when you have a sluggish market. So that's how the three things came together. And then just coming up on 4 years on Christmas Eve is when the scenarios hit me. And that was just a 1 day revelation. And I was at church and things started playing out. And I walked 5 miles to the office, and these scenarios kept playing in my head. And I got to the office and I pulled up all the charts, and I'm like, oh my God, it's even easier than I thought. I'm like, now we can get everything. Right. And I came in, Christmas was on Sunday, and then the market was closed on Monday. And then I came in on Tuesday. I was like, you guys are going to love this. And I'm like, check this out. I'm like, this is what all the reversals look like. This is what all the continuations. Now we can get everything. And they were like, what is he talking about? I've been with this guy for years. And I'm like, he's never mentioned anything like this. And if you go to my YouTube, you can see the exact moment of the revelation, because you'll see a Friday video where I didn't talk about it at all. And then that next week it was like, this is a 2-2, this is a 2-2, this is a 2 going 3, this is a this, and now we can get everything. And ever since then, things really took off, because people like the clarity of the strat, because we don't have to guess anymore. It's like, we know, we just pull up the charts and like, this is what it is, right? And if anything, there's a challenge to understanding the combination of the continuity with the outside bar phenomenon. So if we go through the SPY, you'll see the SPY is technically red from where it opened on the month, but it's outside, right? And so there's certain things you'll hear me say. Once a 3, always a 3 can't not be, which means once you're an outside bar, it can't be anything else. It has to stay that way, which means they tested highs and they tested the lows. And if they did it once, they might do it again. And oftentimes they do. And that's why it's called a broadening formation, because it broadens, it gets bigger, right? And that's why we like to look for those whoppers, right?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you going through all that real quick. Because it's true. I wasn't one of the very first people there when you discovered the scenarios, but I did go through your original course, and it was amazing. Okay, so I know bearish, to the upside, inside, up. I forgot all the terms because we don't use them anymore. But what I do remember from the course is, okay, I got these actionable signals, time frame, continuity, broadening formations. And then we would go to the live room and you're like, this is scenario 2 up, this is 2 down. And I'm like, no, none of this is in the course. This is not in the course. What is this?
Right.
But what I'm saying is it's awesome that things got to, that was another like aha moment for me. So I can totally 100% relate to what you were saying, because I went through the original stuff and then we go to the live chat and we're looking for these scenarios. And so that was another stepping point for me as well. So yeah, that's an amazing synopsis, because that's exactly what happened. That was my experience as well, just from learning the strat from the course, working with you in live chat, and then going through the power hours with you, because I was there a lot of the power hours. I still am every power hour because I don't know everything, and that was another aha moment for me. So that's awesome. And I will share some of those old YouTube videos from way back when. I think the oldest one is 2011, I think it is. And
that's when the strat, that's when it came together, 2011. Yeah.
Yep. And I think you're calling them reverse triangles at the time.
Inverted triangles. Yeah. Inverted.
Yep. Inverted triangles. Let's do this. Let's get both of us on the screen here. Let's look at the SPY, because then that'll help us put it all together here. Let's look at, come on. Yep. Sunshine's been there. She's seen them too. Boiler bands. All right, what am I looking at here? Oops. Let's do this. Stop share. Give me a second here. Sorry about this. I clicked the wrong dude. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's been fun. It has been fun working with Strat with you. And like you said, the outside bar, working with that is amazing too. Let me see here. I'm trying to make sure that we got the right chart up. Give me a second here. All right. I see us. I'm going to make sure we can see each other here. Sorry about this.
I can see you in the charts.
Yep. I'm just to make sure everybody sees us. Let me see here. I'm so sorry about this. All right, let's just start talking about the SPY. I'll figure out in a second. All right, because everybody can only see the charts right now, so that's fine. All right, talking about the SPY, looking at the SPY on the monthly. Let's just pull up this month, outside month. Look at this. You know, so I don't need to show you anything, but for everyone else, outside bar. Let me see here. Click video. Video is muted. Anybody see me in the chat? Mic check. Wonder why I can't. All right. Okay. The SPY. Look at that outside bar on the SPY right here. Scenario 3. And this is what you're talking about. The scenario 3 on the SPY. And this is what. So Monday, I'm in the chat and we're talking about. Both of us, well, you were talking about we're looking for some more downside, and then if you look at the dailies, I mean, it went right back up, which is crazy.
Well, we have exhaustion risk because once you go 3, then we don't know. So
Right.
one of the problems people will have is that they've been told about bearish engulfing or bullish engulfing, whatever they want to call it. But then they're like, "Ooh, that's bearish." I'm like, "No, it's bearish while it's happening. After it happens, then we don't know, right? Because we know an outside bar exists, but then after that, that rejection needs to continue, right? Otherwise, you have exhaustion, which you had here, and then your Tuesday was a 2 up, albeit red. But then on the Tuesday coming into the Fed, what we saw was, and I talked about this in the Strat Time report, there was a discernible sequence on the reversal back up. And so on the QQQ, you had an inside day on Tuesday, and then there was a ton of inside days on Tuesday, right? So it was like a delayed turnaround Tuesday on Wednesday. Then all the dailies insides broke to the upside or were 2 up on Wednesday. So what that does is it overrides the other time frame, the monthly time frame, because when you came back up from Monday's opening, above Monday's opening, now you're green on the week and the day and the 60, and you have most bars going 2 up or inside day to the upside, 2-1-2 style reversal. And so that was a discernible sequence I talked about in the Strat Time report. Important to know, because a lot of people that don't know the strat will be like, "Oh, I'm looking for it to roll back over." I'm like, well, good luck with that, because that's not happening unless you have another reversal back down, which we didn't have.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what made it tough too, because it was easy to get this downside here on Monday, because that was scenario 2 down right here on Monday. And then Tuesday, like you said, it was the inside bar most of the day. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday just started creeping back up.
Also on Monday for the lows, you had a 2-2 reversal on the 60. 60 is a major signal. So that told us where the exhaustion was going to occur, and then came ripping back up.
Yep. Let me see if I can get these. Yep. Here we go. Here's the entire week. Yep. Right here. 2-2 reversal right here. Yep.
No. Keep going down. So we had keeps going 2 down, but right there it called right the low. The 2-2 on the 60. Right there was your low. Right. Okay. There. Right
yeah. Yeah. And I was short in VXX and a couple other things right here. And then,
I grabbed SVXY.
That's awesome. And you can definitely see where it completely, I had to cut that thing. I got what I can get. I got what I wanted. And then I had to stop, because I'm like, okay, this 2-2 reversal to the upside. And I got a lot of other stuff going on. I'm looking for more downside. So I was actually waiting for this to go 2-2 up and then reverse back down.
Right there. Right. That was that second 2 down.
Yeah.
That's what spooked everybody. Because it was also right at the weekly opening. If you can go to the first candle, you can see that's where the weekly opening was. So that actually kicked the week back red. Mm-hmm. And so, discernibly, we were looking to roll over back there too. Just didn't happen.
Nope, it didn't happen. And that was and then your Fed report. What was Wednesday? This was Wednesday right here with the Fed report, right? Yep. And it just starts blasting into the highs. Let me see if I can zoom this in just a little bit more, because during that day you can only see these 60s.
Right. And so we also had a simultaneous break Thursday morning. So you can see the Fed chop shop, right?
Yeah, right here. Yep.
Yes. And then everything closed as an inside 60. SPY, diamonds, Q, small cappers, almost everybody was an inside 60. So when we came in the morning and it started ripping, that's a simultaneous break. Almost everything is a 1-2 up on the 60 to start the day. So there was every reason that opening hour was going to be very powerful. And it was.
It was very powerful. And it was fast too. It was very fast. Well, it seemed like it was fast from my side, just because you're looking for reversals, and this thing is just blasting. And then you had everybody kind of just waiting for the Fed right here, 12:30 my time. And then, 1:30, and then right here's the Fed right here, this Fed chop shop. And then I was actually looking for the Fed news to come out and then continue for some more downside, but it went outside bar here. And, I got chewed up a little bit right there, but it was okay.
Right. Right.
I know when to get out. So how would you have dealt with it? You said Fed days were huge back then. I mean, was this similar to some action back then?
Not really, because it was delayed. It was the next day, really. So we used to get giant triangles on those things. But one of the things that's important that I talk about is called a continuity entry. Okay. So if you look at that big long green bar,
Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Long grid. Let me see here. This one or
No,
this one?
the big green one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now look, if you look at the bottom of it, you're gonna see it opened and dipped just a little bit.
Yep.
And then as soon as it takes that opening, you can take it right there.
Right there.
That's a continuity entry. And just
Mhm.
boom, and off she goes. And be like, look, I got a simultaneous break. It went slightly red, but now it's going back green. This thing should stay green. And it did.
Awesome. Yeah, that was amazing. For a continuity entry, let me get this just for everybody out there. Green. What talking about time frame continuity entry. Right here, the week was green, the day was green, and then this guy right here, green. Look at all that green.
And the monthly is getting overridden, but it's an outside bar, so we can expect that to happen if we get a reversal. And as you can see, that we closed out the week closer to the highs. Now we're closer to a 2-2 reversal back up on the weekly.
Yeah.
Right? when people are like, we're chasing, I'm like, I don't know about that. We're gonna find out.
No, not yet. And no matter what we do, we're finding a reversal back into the trend. So that's good.
Right. Or if we start going down, we have a ton of inside days, SPY's inside day, Q's inside day. And so that would be a 2-1-2 reversal downside. So we're looking either way on this.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you take that 2-1-2 back down, then you can kick back into full time frame continuity to the downside. Now, exhaustion risk is, when you take out highs or lows as well as by time. So this week is the last week of the month and the last week of the quarter, right? So that's something you want to know about. How are we setting up for the next month and the next quarter? So as of right now, if you look at that monthly candle again, we're like dead in the middle of this thing. How are you going to get out of there, right? Come next month. That's something I'd want to know about, because if we open inside, which we probably will, depending on how much action we get this week, we're nowhere near taking that out. So what we do is we look at all the components of the S&P and the major sectors to see how do they line up. How is all that stuff lining up to give us a discernible bias, right? Because you'll hear me say, what's the next two? What will that create, negate, or do, right? Which side of the previous candle are we closer to taking out? So as far as the weekly is concerned, you can see that we're closer to going 2-2 reversal week, 2 down, 2 up, right? To start off. And if we do that, you also have the inside bar on the daily, the 2-1-2 continuation, right?
Yep.
So always watching the combinations of the different time frames and where we are and when this is occurring.
Yes. Yep. 2-1-2. Let me make it a little bit bigger for everybody on the daily chart. There's your scenario one right there. And for Monday, we're looking for above 444.69. I got on my side for a 2-1-2 reversal, a continuation back up. The magnitude being a 448 on my side, I think I got. And then
for the inside bar, it's just going to break the previous two. That's the initial magnitude. And then you want to stay above that, because once it stays above that, then that gives you the 2-2 reversal week back to the upside. So that's a 2-1-2 continuation, which would trigger the 2-2 reversal on the weekly.
Got it. And then for a 2-1-2 reversal to the downside below 441.20, I got on my side, and that would kick it back into full time frame continuity to the downside, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So long as it's lower than the 3 openings on Monday morning.
That's right. And that's another thing about the strat is participants by price and time. That is awesome. Nobody else does that. And to be able to look at it and go, okay, there's definitely more buyers in here than sellers.
No, they're more aggressive. They're not more of them. There's more aggressive. For every buyer, you got to have a seller. So
that's true.
So it's just who's more aggressive. It's like, am I sitting on the bid or am I taking the offer? Right. If I'm sitting on the bid, I'm not very aggressive. If I'm taking the offer, I'm aggressive. Right. I'm paying up. I'm willing to pay. And if we're gonna have four groups or more doing that tells us the price is probably going up. Right. And the good part is when you go back through a previous range, then you're stopping people out. And what that means is you're turning sellers into buyers. So that just compounds it. So oftentimes the fastest moves are coming back through a previous range, not blasting into the highs.
Right. So let me do a quick. I know I wanted to go through a bunch of stuff. Well, we got time. I just wanted to do a quick broadening formation, because I think it's very important for us. Why we aren't breakout traders. You know what I mean? Why we aren't waiting for
horizontal lines.
Yes.
Boo. I mean, if things traded horizontally, trading would be very simple. You know, it would just sit there and go 80, 84, 80, 84, 80, 84. Oh, it broke. It's a breakout above 84, 84, 88, 84, 88. It's not how it works. It just isn't. Otherwise, it's very simple.
It doesn't allow for time either.
No.
It doesn't allow for time. And that's another thing that, let me see if I can get a horizontal line on here real quick, because if let's just say, right, where would we put a horizontal line just for fun?
If you go to the two candles at the very beginning of the chart,
okay,
and draw horizontally off that one, and then the bottom of the bottom one.
Okay.
There you go. And this
awesome.
Be like, there's my resistance line. Then how come it went ripping through it? There's my support line. Then how come it went below it? Right? Because that's not how things trade. They test both sides of ranges.
Yes.
Right? And therefore, so a broadening formation is always going to be there when you have an outside bar. So we have our outside month, and this is what it looks like on a shorter time frame, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, exactly. So I'm a breakout trader. This entire thing is just crazy. It does not allow for time at all. And
right. So if you go to the red candle that broke back below that resistance line, if you will, keep right. Nope. It's like keep going back. There, right there. There's where everybody got stopped out. Right there. That boom.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Everybody got stopped out right there.
Yep. And then exactly. So okay. So but let's just say I'm a breakout trader. I'm gonna buy, and then it's this thing just starts tanking, and you don't know what to do in there. And then you get chopped up in this thing right here, and you're waiting for this thing to come up here, and you're missing all this action in here. That's killed. Come see Rob. He'll bring you your kilt.
Yeah, right.
You're killed. But yeah. So this is amazing. And then this definitely shows with our broadening formation the greater outside bar. If you guys are, I definitely want to emphasize that why we use broadening formations, because here's your greater outside bar that the software is necessarily not showing. Is that correct? By saying that?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
The using the broadening formation like this to look for the greater outside bar that the
shorter time frame. Yeah, right. So one of the things that people get turned around on is that software is going to present data to you the way it wants, right? So you're not trying to read a chart. You're trying to analyze the data. What's actually happening? What does it represent, right? Because if you had a weekly chart that updated on a Wednesday, it would look completely different than your weekly chart, right? So also you'll hear me say stuff like sideways 30 minute. So what that means is that software, all charting software, is going to update your 30 minute at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. Now, by using your mind, right, that to see things, if they updated at 15 minutes and 45 minutes after the hour, right, that's still a signal, and that's still a 30-minute time period. So oftentimes what you'll see is something that would be an inside bar if it updated that way. And that signal's still valid. You're just not going to see it on your charts, but you'll see it in your mind when you train yourself to see things statistically instead of what a lot of people have been told to look for patterns and whatnot. Because, if you go to like TC2000 has like all these crazy time frames, right? I mean, sometimes when people ask me, I'm like, am I over trading? I'm like, if you realized how many signals there are during the day, it's infinite, how severely under trading you are, right? You're just over trading something that's not working, right? But if you have something that works, you realize how under trading you are, because although we're looking at these basic signals, the monthly, weekly, daily, and 60, it's still valid on all these crazy time frames. I'm like, this is an inside bar on a 3-day chart. If it was a 3-day chart, it would be an inside 3-day. That's still valid because you're still mind watching participants by price and time. Here's your 3-day group. Here's your 90-minute group. Here's your 4-hour group. There's all crazy groups, and all of that stuff's still valid. So the great thing about the strat is you can take it to all sorts of crazy levels if you want to. Not everybody's, got that gumption or or sense, but you certainly can, right? And so when you hear guys coming in over the weekend and they're pouring through charts, I'm like, here's my single best idea, here's my 5 best ideas. I'm like, hey Rob, you got any ideas? I'm like, I don't have ideas, I have trades and I got billions of them. All right, this is what a trade looks like.
Yeah.
This is what a trade looks like. Now I don't have an idea, right? I don't have an idea. It's like, this is what they look like, right? If it does this, we do that. If it does that, we do this, right? And that's one of the good things about the strat is that we all think exactly alike. And I remember when I first did my interviews, Benzinga with Ryan Faluna, and he was like, that's what really attracted me to you guys is that you talk exactly the same. There's no conversation about whether something's a buy or a sell. Right? You guys all know, like when people first come to me, we can communicate very quickly. And that's why you'll see me type symbols in to keep an eye on in the chat during the day. I'm like, and sometimes people will be like, well, how do I know if it's a buy or a sell? I'm like, if you don't know, it's a nothing. Do nothing. You should know. All right. Because we know. And so that's why like my nightly videos are rarely over 3 minutes. Like, because I'm like, here's what we're looking at. Here's a 2, there's a 2, this is that, and this is that, and there you go. And I was laughing with Sarah the other day because she's been such a good, helpful educator. And I was laughing with her because I think she's going to pass me soon on Twitter and followers. And I posted a tweet out and I said, Rob makes 3-minute video on what about the market, 300 views. Sarah makes an hour-long video explaining what Rob said in those 3 minutes, 11,000 views. But you know, that's what it takes, you know, to get people introduced to it, you know, the education, my course. And the good thing is, some people just get it right away, and I call them naturals. And some people just look at this and like, Rob, this makes 100% sense to me right out the chute, right? And it's amazing to watch, really, because for decades people have been like, you need a years of screen time and blowing out 10 times and all this to learn. And I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. I'm like, you just need to know why things are occurring, right? And what a reversal looks like, what a continuation looks like, and what are they doing, right? And that's why you'll hear me say oftentimes in the Strat Time report, here is what they are doing. And what I mean by they is institutions and the participation groups, right? Whoever that may be, algos, all that kind of stuff. This is what they are doing, right? They are buying energy. They are buying all of them, right? We have signals on the monthly. We have signals on the daily. Now you just look for the signals on the shorter term. That's what they are doing, right? So we're using these participation groups for our advantage, right? And we're using them against each other and saying, okay, because we know of broadening formation magnitude. Like most people don't understand magnitude. They're like, that's my price target. Why? Because I think it's going there. Right? No, it's going there because outside phenomenon exists, right? And so because we can gauge magnitude, we can look at things and say, okay, well, if this works on the shorter term time frame, these little guys, my 5-minute guys are going to trigger my 60-minute guys, right? If the 60-minute guys trigger, they're going to trigger my daily and weekly guys, right? And if we already have a signal on the month, we already got our offensive line going, right? Because I like to sometimes explain things on analogies, like time frame continuity is like a football team, right? You've got your offensive line, that's your monthly group. You got your wide receivers and tight ends, that's your weekly group. You got your running back and your fullback, and that's your daily. And then you got the 60, and that's your quarterback, all right? And that's why I say the 60 is a major signal. You can do pretty well with a good quarterback. He does a lot better with a better team. But if you have a good quarterback, he can make some things happen, right? Even if, if he's on a crappy team. So that's why that's why that 60 is so important. And especially like where we were looking at the 2-2 reversal that called the low on Monday, right?
Yep.
That was major, right? That was my quarterback taking over, right?
Yep.
And if that works, well, what will go on? And if that does, it comes back up and tests the weekly opening and all that kind of stuff. So that's why there's your quarterback right there. And there, right there. There he goes. Right. And so that's why you'll hear me say 60 is a major signal when some people would hesitate there and say, well, it's down on the day, it's down on the week, and it's down on the month. And I'm like, that's true. right? But the quarterback's got a reversal, right? Maybe he can make something happen, and then he did.
Oh yeah,
he did.
he definitely did. He
Right.
got it working. He got
Right.
it working. 2-2 reversal to the upside. That is awesome. Do you want
Because I will also have people that will stay only on full time frame continuity, and I don't have a problem with that because you'll hear me say a lot too. The strat customizes itself to each individual, right? What makes sense to them? And saying, well, Rob, I don't want to mess around. I want all green. I'm like, I'm good with that. I'm totally good with that, right? And that's why in the chat room and in Power Hour, when I get to know people, I'm like, once I know who you are and what you're doing, I can call directly to you, right? That helps, right? If I know who you are, because we all think exactly alike. You'll hear me say this a lot too, is like, once you learn the strat and you're in the chat room, is that then I become the world's greatest assistant. I'm just searching this stuff out, where we've always believed that trading should be a two-person job, right? That helps to minimize mental error because we all know that we've been told it's like trader's worst enemy is himself, right? And being like, oh, I'm breaking my rules. I'm doing this. And when you have a two-person team and they both agree on the exact same criteria, and one is doing the analysis as one is doing the execution, you're much less likely to have those kind of mistakes and those kind of errors. And so with me on the headset, I can help you move stops. I can find more stuff. I can say still good, where some people would be like, ooh, I see money. I want to take it. I'm like, dude, it's still good. That's still good. That could turn into a lot more money. Right?
Still good.
Still good. And I mean, everybody said this. I got out too early. I'm like, yeah, you did, because there was no reversal against you. Why did you get out? And when you got out, you let somebody else out, right? Some guy is on the hook. You let him out. It's like we want to dangle those carrots way up there and be like, you went out, you go up there, up here.
There you go. It's going up here. It's going up here.
Right.
Exactly. So do you want to go through some more charts, or do you want to, where do you want to?
Yeah. So I wanted to point out one of the points that I make over and over again in the Power Hour is that when people first hear about the strat, they're looking at all the possible setups that we know about. As far as 1, 2, and 3, there's only can be so many things, right? But then they're trying to jump around and be like, okay, now I'm gonna do this one, now I'm gonna do that one. And you've heard me say this a million times. I'm like, you can do very well just being a one-trick pony, right? Just staying on one setup, and that's all you do. So I wanted to use an example. If you just did that, all right, something we call the 3-2-2.
3-2-2.
Outside bar takes out, then the 2 either takes out the high or the low, and then you have a 2-2 reversal back through the 3, because we know broadening formations get bigger, right? So that gives you your magnitude. Is going to go once again, take out the other side of the outside bar. So if we can pull up Amazon.
Yep. Let me get this going. Amazon. Who's got Amazon? Who's got Amazon money here?
Amazon basically was doing nothing until we got the 3-2-2.
Correct.
Okay.
3-2-2 on the
monthly. Monthly. Go to you can just pull up a big monthly, because I'm just going to talk about monthlies.
Yep.
And there it is. There's your hammer countering the outside month right in the middle of it.
Right there.
Right there. Boom. Did we know about that? We sure did.
We did.
Well, we did.
Let's put an actionable signal. We'll put I like to call them action lines. It kind of helps people understand what we're talking about.
Yep. As soon as it breaks above that.
Yep.
Now we're going to go. That previous bar was an outside bar. We're going to take that out. Yep. So you can give me the point range. You can go what that 1 month was, and you can look at compared to any other month for a year. That was the biggest month.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We knew about that.
Huge.
Okay.
And so scenario 3. Here's our scenario 3. Oh, that's my green line. Let me get this guy here. My yellow arrow here. Here's your scenario 3 for everybody out there. Here's your scenario 3. 2 down, 2 up.
So
3,
that
2-2.
Yep. So that whole month you could either stay long or you just keep working it. And another good thing you can do is once it breaks that, it's just slightly above it, and you're trading it, and it starts to move up, and you're making money. Mm-hmm. We know it's going to. We expect it to take out the high of that previous 3 where you're pointing right now.
Yep.
And so that's a damn big move. And so what you can do is take some of your profits and then roll it into the options up high, because they're not going to be very expensive. So nobody's expecting it to go there. But when it does, those things explode.
Yeah.
Because we know what the magnitude is.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you go to XLF.
Let's go XLF, the financials. Nope, that's FAS. Right here. The financial. Oh, the fund.
That's
go ahead.
spider. Let's see.
XLF.
So, yes, there we go. So last month, what happened? The 3-2-2 month.
That's it.
There's also an FAS.
All right.
So this is what I'm saying. It's like if this is all you do, you can do great. This is all you do. You're like, what am I doing? I'm financials. Now you can go back to FAS. You're like, I'll go FAS.
FAS financials. Yeah, JP Morgan.
There you go.
Was it Garage Salon? They were all doing the same thing.
And there you go. Right. And so then this month, what was it?
Hammer.
Energies. No, energies. Go to energy.
Yep.
Go to
XLE.
No, XLE has just started to kick in, but a lot of those have. So if you go to XEC,
all right,
we're breaking down the internals can help you.
Yep.
Before the actual ETF breaks. What's that? The 3-2-2. Where's it going, Rob? Up there.
Up there.
Right. Go to Conoco.
Yep. Conoco.
COP.
That was. What's that?
COP.
COP. You know what? I'm sitting here making it hard on myself. I got a whole watch list of all these guys. COP. Cop.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call it RoboCop here. Let me see here.
The 3-2-2 month.
The 3-2-2.
Is that hard? That's all I do. I'm the 3-2-2 monther guy, right? Yeah. And then you can see that, and then if you go, you can go to COG. COG cog and say, okay, I like me some little guy. Boom.
Yeah.
On a percentage basis, that's huge.
That's huge. Yeah. And then and you don't have to I don't have to guess where I need to get in at, because as soon as it trades above this hammer, the 3-2-2, and I know I'm at least need to take out this right here. And if it goes past that, all I need to do is hold on, and then just until there's a reversal against me.
That's right. And then what that does also is enables you to pay for the ones that are still working. Look at LPI.
LPI, is that also energy?
Yep.
Let me see if it's in my list here. I'm not seeing it. Let's go LPI. LPI. That's in my weekly signals. 3-2-2. Yep.
Look at that 3. Get boy.
Get. Look at that.
58. Look at that. It hasn't even hit magnitude, and it broke that 58 and change, and now it's at 82.
Yeah.
Right. If this is all you do, like one trick pony, and then so there's a bunch of these energies that are still working that, right? And then if you go to the XLE, if all this stuff starts to work, we're trying to get that XLE to kick in. So you can see that XLE finally goes 2-2 on the month. It took a lot to get it going, but now and we're running out of month. But you can see all these things triggering that would tell us that it should do that, right? That should get taken out, right? Because of all these things that are doing that. And then if you go to IFF, Flavor Flav.
IFF. That's another thing too about the live chart. The live trading is hilarious because we're not sitting here going, we're not sitting here going, the international flavors of fragrances and blah blah blah. The news is what is it? 3-2-2.
Boom, puke. Look at that. All right.
Man.
And that way you don't have to, scan for different things. That's just what you are. You're a 3-2-2 monther. And so then you'll have people that can break it down even shorter and say, okay, I'm just a 2-2 weaker. I'm like, pull up FSLR. I'm the weak.
Yep. FSLR.
2 up, 2 down. Go to the weekly. Stay on the weekly.
All right. Stay on the weekly.
Yep.
Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I'm a 2-2 weaker. That's
Yep.
it.
2-2
And
reversal.
right. And so the magnitude on that is to take out, even though if it's not a 3, it's still to take out that previous candle, the 2, when you have a 2-2 reversal, because those 2 weeks become an outside bar of that, because we know that phenomenon exists.
Yeah, let me mark that while I'm marking this outside bar so people can see that. I think this would be a great, and it says in the chat, they're wanting a good example of a triangle layout, and I think this would be a great example of a triangle layout if I'm correct, because you got the buyers got in here and went 2 up, and then
boom, took out everybody in one shot.
Yeah, boom,
them all out in one shot.
That's a good example of triangle layout. So if you want to talk to a triangle layout, Rob, do you have anything more to add on that on a TTO? I guess
it's because I get that question a lot. So it's just understanding that this phenomenon exists, and understanding magnitude is further than people think. That's why people get carried out and killed. That's why they get out too early. Moves get bigger than people expect, right? And when they do, they take out more losers. They take out more losers, right? And everybody's gone, right?
Everybody.
Right. That's us. I always say it's like when they raid the brothel, they even arrest the piano player. Everybody's coming with us. Everybody, right? Everybody. You'll stop them all out, and then we'll talk. And then you have exhaustion risk because you blew everybody out. And then it's a matter of whether sellers step down or buyers step up, or you have your exhaustion like you did this week in the SPY after Monday. They blew everybody out on Monday. Everyone's gone. Yeah. They're gone. And then everybody was too jittery to get back in. And then they had to wait for the Fed, and then they all bum rushed back in and said, "Oh, I got to get back in now." Right? On Thursday, right? That's where they really panicked. Right? That's what happened.
So true. I personally like the 2-2 reversal, and anybody who follows me, and of course you know too, the hammer and force is what I like the best.
Yep.
Because I know the buyers.
Pull up. There's a good one that you got was the Auto Nation 2-2 weaker.
Yep, that was amazing for me. Auto Nation was amazing. It was one of those times I'm like, man, I wish I could do this. I mean, I can, but I'm just saying, if trading was like this every single time I pulled up a chart, I mean, it would be amazing, because Auto Nation was, it was just, I don't know, it was just beautiful. I don't know how to say it. It was just amazing.
Back through the previous range. Boom.
Yeah. And through the previous range, and where if I was a breakout trader, I'm sitting here waiting for this thing to go, okay, I'm not going to touch it until it goes above 125. And I missed all this stuff right here. Like, hold on, there's people bought it here. And that's funny, because before I stumbled onto the strat, I did learn a little bit of support and resistance and things like that. And I would see that. I didn't know what I was saying. Of course, I wasn't putting it together in my mind or anything like that, but I could definitely see people were buying it all the way up to this line, and then people would get it. And then, so when I stumbled onto the strat, and you were talking about why we aren't breakout traders and how people are missing all this stuff coming through previous range, that was another, like, this makes sense to me. I need to do this. This makes sense. 2-2 reversal, Auto Nation right here, 106. It was great.
Right. And so another thing that, like I was showing you that's important to understand is the simultaneous break. And what that means is when everything is breaking at the same time, or is by sector. So you can see a simultaneous break can be a 60-minute, like on Thursday morning, where everything was an inside up, or it can be on a monthly basis where you're seeing all of the energies going 3-2-2 or 2-2. Now you got EOG just went 2-2 on the month, right?
Yep.
So that tells us that they're buying energy across the board. They're buying all of them, right?
Yep.
That's something I'd want to know about, right? And so I'm constantly looking for those setups, because they're much higher probability, where a lot of people will just come in and say, well, here's my favorite stock pick of the day or whatever it is. It's like my favorite is when you have an entire sector or the entire market breaking in the same direction. That's powerful stuff. All right. That heightens the probability, because it tells you that the institutions are buying pretty much every energy stock across the board. Right. If you got a drop of oil in you, they're buying it. That's something I'd want to know about, because you can continually look for setups in the different names. Right. And then as you keep moving your stops up, eventually all you're going to have left is the most powerful moves, the strongest ones. That's all. Yes. That's all I want. And it might be all of them. Right. That's the good part. It might be all of them. Right. But the ones that don't stop you out, will be the most powerful moves. And that's how you get involved in stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here just clicking through all the XLE and through the weekly, and yeah, all green. I think there was a couple I clicked through that wasn't green on the week. I mean, they're tiny bars. I mean, no name guys, but I mean, yeah, you could definitely see. I think anybody
one bar Rev
Strat
1.3 HFC.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Was it the one? Was this the? Oh, this is the. Oh no, it's not. It's not. I was gonna say this is the 313 Motor City Madhouse, but it's not.
Nope. It's a 213 single 1 bar Rev Strat.
Right here.
1.3. Yeah.
Yep. If anybody wanted to know what a 1 bar Rev Strat looks like, it's right there.
Right. If you pull up a daily of Facebook, you're gonna see it there too.
Yep. Let's do that real quick.
Okay.
If
one trick pony. What do? It's like I trade 1 bar Rev Strats. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Poked down a little bit and then went green and boom. Outside day coming.
Yeah. And it did it too. I mean, I was able to.
I think Sarah was on. I think Sarah was in on that.
Yep, Sarah was in on that, and a lot of people on Twitter they were just tweeting directly at Sarah like, "Hey, this is going outside bar," and and because people, even people that do other things, other trading strategies are starting to catch on. Like, "Hey, this is about to go outside bar," and it did it. It did it.
Yeah, it did.
It did. Yeah, it did. Anybody in the chat got a question specifically for Rob on any of this stuff? Go ahead and type them in. Yeah, that's amazing. Last week's anything on the weekly one? Anything else on the weekly you want to talk about, Rob? Let me see if I can pull up the weekly signals from last week. It's so easy to talk about the strat. We could do this for hours. I know. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's so
how about pull up a monthly UPST? One of my favorites.
Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me see if it's in the. It's not in the thing. It was last week. UPST. I don't know. What does UPST do? I don't know. They like number 3 pencils or something. I don't know. But they're buying them. That's
go to the monthly.
Look at that.
The 2-2 reversal.
Nice.
Boom.
2.
Yeah. 2 down, 2 up. It's still good.
It did it.
Look at that. Look at that move. All right.
Yeah. That's amazing. 130 to 327. Just hold it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Just hold it.
Right. And then pull up a weekly INMD.
IMMD.
INMD. N.
Oops.
N is in Nancy.
November.
If you pull up the weekly on this baby, or the monthly. Yeah. The monthly. So here's a continuation pattern. It did on both. You can go back to the monthly.
Okay. Because I like this because this is going to show us how to get in on something like this because it's already going on the month.
So you can see that red month, that red hammer.
Yep.
That's where they stopped them out. That's a 2 up, 2 down, 2 up continuation. Yep. That's something we look for all the time. That's how you get in on stuff, right?
Yep.
And then if you go to the daily.
There we go.
Now you're going to see Monday was down, a 2 down, but it was green.
Mm-hmm.
And then that next day, right there, right there. Then the next day is a 2-2 reversal, which gives you an outside bar of the original bar, right?
Yes, right here.
And you're already green on the week, right? The 2 up, the 2 down, the 2 up, and off she goes, and boom,
boom.
See ya.
Yeah,
look at that. It's like that's at the 140s up to 176 in 4 days.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let me see here. I want to show people this outside bar because I get a lot of they're like, what do you mean this 2-2 reversals outside bar of that? I mean, let me see if I can draw it here real fast.
There you go.
Yep. Let me just a little. I want to be too perfect, but
there you go.
Yep, these 2 bars make this is if you combine these 2 bars, that's a scenario 3. This would still be a scenario 1. Are people in the chat see that? Question from Cami. Hey, if you guys are playing monthly or weeklies, if you're playing options, how far would you push out your expiration date? And what am I fighting for on myself? That's what I'm fighting for myself. I always go a week out. What do you say, Rob, on options? What's for expiration dates?
Yeah, well, it depends. Like I said, if you're doing the weekly, you might want to do those Fridays. depending on when it breaks. So when things occur matters. So is it breaking this monthly, like this week? You've only got a week left, right? Is it breaking it the first week of the month? That matters. So when things occur matters on where you're going to go with that, to how much time you're going to have for it to play out, right? That's why when we have a 60-minute signal, we want that to break right away. That gives us 59 minutes to look for shorter term setups. So it really comes down to when this is occurring on where you're going to go and how long you're going to hold it. Are you planning on holding through magnitude? Oftentimes what I'll suggest, like I was talking about before, is that you trade those closer dated weeklies, make some money, and then roll it in with the profits to the magnitude because you've already paid for it, because they're a lot cheaper. That way we're playing with their money, right? And you can still keep playing those shorter term weeklies and rolling them into the higher strikes later dated, so long as you still have the magnitude. So what I mean by that is if you look at, let's go back to that weekly AutoNation real quick.
Yep. Let's see here. Boop. Weekly. Right here.
So you'll notice that big long green bar on the 2-2 that we were talking about, but that didn't hit magnitude until this week. That's where it took out the highs, right? So you still had some meat on that bone, right? It was going to take those guys out, right? And so you can, if you get those closer dated on the way up, take those profits. You can go roll them into options up closer to magnitude further out, because they're still going to be cheap.
Got it.
Because it's a move that they don't see very often, right? That's good. We see it all the time. These guys don't, right?
Right. And that's really important for a lot of people out here starting with the strat, is have all 4 screens up at the same time. We're showing it one screen at a time because it's just a little easier to show you guys what's going on. But if you got all four at the same time up, it is very easy to see these signals go in force, and how the 60, like you said before, the 60 will trigger the daily, the weekly, or the monthly. And someone asked me last show, what's my longest trade? And honestly, it's been a couple, say like I think a week was my longest. That's because, for example, this AutoNation, this did this in 2 days. Let's see here. This first green bar, if I got in right here at actually it was at 108, but I mean, this did this in a couple days. You know what I mean? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 days.
And then the triangle layout 2-2 continuation right there.
Yep.
Boom. And that's what took it to magnitude.
Yep.
And then it exhausted and went 3, as we would expect up there.
Yep. Yep.
And another thing that we'll do too is why it's important to, depending on how active you are, to be in the chat with me during the day. If you pull up a 15-minute Deckers from Friday.
Okay. Deckers. Yes. You were yelling Deckers.
Because I'm constantly scanning for all these setups, because there's literally an infinite amount, but I'm looking for the ones that are the highest probability. And we don't have a simultaneous break, but Deckers was getting demolished. And I saw that right away. That's when people's like, why do you need all those screens for? I'm like, because I'm tracking the whole market to look for these setups. You'll see that inside 15er, second bar.
All right, give me a second here. Second bar. Yep, it's too easy. I think I already got a line there.
Right, and then there's another inside bar below that. There.
Yep.
Nope. Keep going. One more.
Right here.
There you go. And then you don't have the 3 reversal until right at the lows, right?
Yep.
There. So,
yep, right here.
Right. So it's a good $10, $12 move or whatever, plus you have an ad. And that's the kind of stuff we're picking up during the day. Most people may never have a trade like that. But once you have the strat, it's all day, every day. And that's why we always stick with the ones that are moving the most, right? Or coming back to the previous range. We like nice long red and green bars, where somebody might have said, this thing just dropped from 416, 417 down to 397. You want me to short it now? I'm like, yep. Yep. This baby's in trouble, right?
Yep.
These guys are in all sorts of trouble, man.
Yeah, and when the SPY's red and someone's taking out yesterday's lows, that means they're really in trouble. That's they're really in trouble.
Yep.
I got a question in the chat, and I'm pretty sure you already summed it up, but just to make it clear for everybody, so the trigger is the same as an entry. When you say it triggers, that's your entry,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and that's important for people in the chat just to understand when when Rob says,
Right.
"Hey."
What's important to understand too is that people will say, well, I missed that. Can I still go after it? I'm like, so long as it's still in force. Yes. And that's why we start on monthlies. Once those go in force by triggering on the month, that's good all month. And you can continue to look for those weekly and daily and 60-minute and 15-minute setups the whole month, right? That's why we like those. And as a matter of fact, I'll be putting out this weekend the macro video where we even look at quarterly and yearly charts. So we have really big participation groups, and sometimes those can really pay, especially last year. Especially last year when the pandemic turned around and started going back up. The article I wrote specifically talking about Tesla and Shop. Once we started to turn around in April, it's like these things were still green on the quarter and the month.
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean the year. And I was like, they have full time frame continuity, including the big boys, and that's where you got Tesla up 750%, Shopee just ripping, stuff like that. So,
yep. Shoot, hold on a second. I was trying to put spy up on the monthly so we can see that, because I show this almost every weekend. The world famous 212. I got a lot of crap here. Let me see if let me take this stuff out here. And then what we'll do? Let's do this. Let's show it on the SPY, and then we'll show it on Tesla. So it all makes sense, because here's the world famous 212 reversal on the SPY on the monthly.
Yep.
Right there. Two down, inside bar. Boom. Right there.
Yep.
This pandemic, everybody's
and it was important because that one opening was April. That was the beginning of the new quarter, right? And so at that point, when that started moving higher, we were going after anybody that's still green on the year, and that was your Shopee and your Teslers. And then off they went. Yeah. As well as if you pull up W.
Yep.
Another one of my faves.
Oprah.
No, just
Oprah.
W. No, just W. Wayfair.
Sorry.
Another thing we would do. Look at that. Anything taking out the March highs. Look at that. Look at that monthly move. Boom. We know about that. We sure did. It's like, because we're always getting in the mind of the people positioned on the wrong side. So if you were short, you got what you wanted. The market got destroyed, right, in March. But if you take out those highs in April, you're screwed, right? And look at that move. Look at that move.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's amazing.
And it's like, why is it down? I'm like, because of the pandemic. I'm like, you think that's bad for them? It's like, no. It was like Amazon. It's like, it's not bad for them.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a quarterly chart real fast on this one, just because. Yep. Look at those 2 quarters. Holy crap! Right above this. If I was just looking at macro charts, and I want to know where to get in on something, 112. Just get in, hold it all the way up to 348. Amazing. Amazing. Let's show that Tesla on the monthly. Yeah, those macro vids, I like to call them tank charts, just because that's where I like to go, because I am super busy and I can't look at all the charts all the time, and that helps me get in on a winning position and just be able to hold it and not have to stay. I love looking at the chat and being in the chat and looking and see what's going on for the day, but those macro charts give me something to hold on to and work without necessarily having to stare at all the charts every day long.
From a time frame continuity standpoint, right? If you go back and you look at 2020, right, where it started, right there is green, and then you go into February, it's still good, right? Then and March coming down and getting destroyed, and then bam.
Yeah. Let's go to the I had the quarterlies up. Let's go back to the monthly.
Yeah.
March, February, April. This is April, and then May.
Yeah, that's green on the year and and then you go green on the quarter. Yep.
Yep.
Off she went. And then you
Yep.
get your inside monther in October. Right there. See
Yeah.
ya. Boom. See ya.
Yep. Right at 469. Boom.
And then you'll see a shop too. Shop was green on the year.
Let me see here. Shop. Yep.
Right there. Look at April. The 2 up, 2 down, and boom. New quarter.
Right there.
Yep. New quarter. Everything's going green. See ya.
Yep. Yep. Look at that thing. And okay, so then let's talk about something real quick that's in the that's in your let's see, the original strat stuff. So if I just got in here and then kept my stop even and then just waited, I could get it, I could have took it here, but then also I could have added as well. I mean, it's kind of a little messy in here, I'm sure, but
well, here, if you go back 5 months, you're going to see the Rev Strat month.
Where you at?
Right
here. Yep.
Inside down, stop them out, and boom. Rev Strat monther hits magnitude.
And
might go into the highs.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this 415, 514 all the way up to, oh my gosh, 1646. Golly, that was a great year.
Yeah, right. And so that's where I explain to people, like, they're like, oh, you guys sound like you're just a bunch of day traders. I'm like, if you got some of these monthly signals, you might decide to hold it forever and be like, why would I sell this thing? It's like, it's like, that's my portfolio. It's like, it ain't going back down there anytime soon. Right.
No.
And, that's how you can use this to build your 401k, to, for long-term investing, and say, look, I want to build a portfolio. I'm like, what you're going to do is you're going to build a portfolio of winning positions. That's it. Right. And once they're like gangbusters like these things, you don't have to get stopped out. You can just keep it in there if you want. I don't care. But that's a good way to do it,
Oh yeah. Yep. And then it's so easy to talk about the strat. We are over time. What do you want to do, Rob? You want to keep going?
Well, I got a lot of work to do.
I know it's so easy to talk about this stuff. It is very, very easy. And I'm sure we wanted to, there was a lot of stuff we wanted to cover. We went through the macro stuff. We went through how to get in on weekly signals, and then how to get in on something on a smaller time frame.
If you haven't joined us yet, take a trial. And also coming up through the September 30th, the chat room's only $1,000 for a year, right? It's like less than $4 a day, right? So if you have not yet, I would come check it out with us. And you might want to jump on that because, like I said, one Deckers pays for that and then some. And we're pretty much doing that all day. We showed you a ton of examples, and it's fun, right? And so if you're brand new to the strat, definitely keep checking it out, because it's my firm belief that eventually no trades are going to be taken without referring to it in the future. It's just a matter of getting the word out. So far, it's been 10 years, because when I discovered this stuff, I thought people were going to jump all over it. And 10 years later, I'm still being like, look, guys, it's been figured out. This is how it works. This is what you do. This is what things look like before they make big moves. This is what this is where we can expect big moves and why. And so hopefully we've, if you're brand new to this, we struck a nerve to you, and you keep investigating this. And for those of you who've been with us for a while, keep spreading the word. And it's good to see you. And thanks for everybody coming out today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. Thanks for being here. It was awesome. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Thanks for the questions. It was fun. Yes, type in Strat Soldier for the 1 month. You get 2 weeks free with that. And then for the Strat Soldier, type in Strat Soldier 12 to get that huge discount on the annual. And that, yes, for people in the chat, that does come with the course for free, and that's with Rob. And just get the annual. You can always, some people say, well, I can't day trade, I got work, blah, blah, blah. You can pull up Rob at any time and look at on your lunch break and watch the Strat Time Report. When he pulls it up, most of the time it's during lunch. And for most people, I'm during lunch, I'm sorry. And then it's the same time every day at 11:30 Chicago time, 12:30 Eastern. And then also the Power Hour. You get the Power Hour with Rob on Mondays, 1 hour after the close. And if you remember, you can ask Rob all those crazy questions What's what's a 1-bar rev strat look like, Rob? How would I get in on this? What do I know to be true about that? And Rob will answer all those questions. It's awesome. It's worth it. It is worth it 100%. That's all I got. That's what. Anything else? Any closing comments, Rob?
No, I'm just gonna get back to work here. We got the weekend video, we got the macro video coming out, and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, the power hours where we get things done. And one of the things I always say is like, we will get you where you need to be when it comes to trading. You just got to believe and then come and do some work. But some people are natural, some people takes a little bit longer. But been doing this 10 years and always make sure everybody gets it the best I can.
Awesome. But thank you so much. Thanks, Rob. And thanks for everybody in chat. And yes, someone says, Phil says, learning quickly in these videos. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. And this is Strat Soldier with the Weekend Chef. Thanks, Rob. And I'll see you next week.
You got it.